Hello, my name is Vincent Garcia. I'm a certified advisor / certifying official with the St. Philip's College Veterans Affairs Office. Today I'm going to go over how to properly fill out the VA paperwork so we can process your VA benefits. Let's get started. Who needs to fill out the VA paperwork? All students who are registering for classes, all students who have made adjustments or changes to their schedule to include adding classes, new students using VA benefits to process payments or certifications. Keep in mind, it is not an automatic process. It needs to be done every time a change is made and every semester you register for classes. The benefits accepted by St. Philip's College start with Chapter 33 post 9/11. It's either the veteran or the transfer dependent benefit. Chapter 30, Montgomery GI Bill. Chapter 31, BRNE. Chapter 35, DEA. Chapter 1606, Hazelwood. Hazelwood Legacy, and Hazelwood uses the VA benefit. The first step for the paperwork is how to find it. You're going to go to alamo.edu/SPC, and then in the search bar, look up Veterans Affairs. On the new page that pulls up, you should see the Veterans Affairs webpage. Go ahead and click on that. From here, if you just scroll down just a little bit, you should see two blue buttons. You're going to want to click on the Request for Certification button. Once you do that, you'll be taken to a Guardian webpage. Guardian is the software we use to process VA paperwork. Make sure that when you get onto this page, sometimes the form is not selected the correct form. You're going to want to select VA Enrollment Certification Request. The submission date is the date that you are submitting it, as well as a time. This next section down here is your home school. So if you're submitting this for another campus, you'd select that campus. For now, we're going to select St. Philip's College. The next section is financial aid. That is not including your VA benefit. That is financial aid through FAFSA. So it's going to ask you, are you applying for financial aid? Yes or no. The next section is are you submitting it for yourself? Or are you having somebody help you and assist you with this? The next section is the student data portion of this. From top to bottom, I'm going to go over everything. Your student ID is your banner ID number. It is a 9-digit number, normally starting with a 90 or a 901. Student email is always your login username at student.alamo.edu. Then we have your first name, last name, date of birth, primary address, city, state, zip code, and primary phone number. Keep in mind your emergency contact number needs to be different than your primary phone number. You're going to select no as a change of address. This section must be completed every time you submit paperwork. The next section is the most important, as your social security number and your degree is specifically tied to what benefits you're using. Most VA benefits require you to take courses that fall on a specific degree, and that is associated with your social security number. That's what we report to the VA itself. Under the military status, make sure you're choosing if you're the veteran, if you're the dependent, the spouse. This helps us associate you and help you certify you to the VA at later times. The next section, make sure if this is your first time going to school with us, you list all colleges and universities you've ever attended. That way we know if all the transcripts have come in. The next section is the certification semester required. This is for the term you are requesting us to pay for your classes. So if you're a fall student and you're registering for the spring, you're going to put the spring of 2023, and so on and so on. It's never for the current semester that you're in. It's always for the one you're requesting us to process your paperwork for. The next section, it's pretty self-explanatory. All we need is the 4-letter and the 4-digit name for the course you're taking. For instance, if you're taking an English composition, that's English 1301 or 1302. So you just put ENGL 1301 or 1302, and so on. The semester type, this all varies depending on the term you're in school. If it's spring and fall, we offer several terms like the 16-week, 14-week, 12-week, Flex 1, which is normally the first half of the semester, and Flex 2, which is normally the second half of the semester. And then you're also going to put the college that the class is being offered at. So if you're taking a class at Palo Alto College, it's going to be a Palo Alto College class. If you have to add more classes, and let's say you're taking a full course load of 4 classes, you simply add a second, third, fourth, and so on for the classes that you're taking. Some degrees with us require you to take more than 4 or 5 classes in a term. Some require you to take up to 10. So this is where you add all those classes. And you're going to do the same thing for the first classes you did with the second, third, fourth, and fifth, etc. Philosophy 1301, Arts 1301, Math 1314, and so on. If you have trouble with this, simply reach out to your VA advisor or counselor, and we'll be glad to assist you with this. I'll have all their information at the end of it. The next section is the deferment section. This confuses a lot of students as they don't really know what the deferment is. In simple terms, a deferment is a way for us to put your payment deadline back 60 days from the start of the term if you're using a VA benefit that doesn't cover tuition and fees, like Chapter 30, 35, or 1606. If you're using Hazelwood with those benefits, Hazelwood is used to cover the tuition and fees where those benefits don't. So if you're using that, you click no. If you're using the VA benefit by itself, you click yes because you're not going to be receiving your payments yet, so you're going to push the payment deadline back a little bit. Under that, it's going to ask you, have you used the deferment in the past, yes or no? And it's also going to ask you what category you fall under. A lot of students, like I said, will fall under either 35, 30, or 30, or 1606. Some will also be using My CAA or tuition assistance. The next, you're going to explain why you're requesting the deferment. 9 times out of 10, all we would need for you to do is simply put, I'm using 35, I'm using 30, or if you're using 31 and you haven't got your PO number yet, we'll talk about that in a little bit, you just simply put that. Underneath of that, you're going to need to verify that you're acknowledging everything that's required for you for using a deferment, stating that when the payments are going to be made, you are responsible for the payments, or anything else that the school is requiring for you in regards to the deferment. The next section is your benefit selection. Down here is where you'll choose what benefit you're using. A lot of times when you start the paper, you kind of already know what benefit you're using. If you want to find more about different benefits, you can reach out to one of us. We'll be glad to sit down and talk with you about it. We're going to go over each of the benefits kind of in detail and what they require. There's 3 benefits in this section as far as VA benefits that require additional information when you put them in. For instance, the Chapter 33 requires you to put down what percentage you are of using it. If you applied for your benefit and gotten the COE, Certificate of Eligibility, it can only say if you're a full-time student, 90%, 80%, and so on. For the Chapter 31, as mentioned before, they issue what's called a PO number, a purchase order number. This allows us to certify you and pay for your classes through the Chapter 31 benefit. If you don't have that, a lot of times they send it just to the school. You can reach out to us. We can try to find that PO number for you. And the last section that requires additional information is Chapter 35. That is a Chapter 35 claim number. This is going to be the veteran Social Security number. It won't be the student. It's going to be the veteran whose benefits you're receiving benefits from. So if it's 100% service-connected disabled veteran, that's the social you're going to put into this section here. The next section is the Hazelwood section. For many veterans who join the military from the state of Texas, they're given a state of Texas benefit called Hazelwood. Hazelwood is used at all public state of Texas institutions that gives you up to 150 hours of tuition and fees paid. It does not give you a monthly housing stipend, though, like most VA benefits do. Hazelwood requires a good amount of information in order to start that. If you reach out to your advisor, they can give you all that information you're going to need. The biggest one that we do need for Hazelwood, though, whether it's Hazelwood Legacy, Hazelwood, or Hazelwood with a VA benefit, is the DD-214. This is the discharge paperwork that the veteran has that lets us know if he A, joined the military from the state of Texas, served at least 180 days or 6 months of active duty, and left the military honorably. So if you're using Hazelwood as a veteran, you simply choose a veteran intending to use my Hazelwood Act exemption. The next section, if you're using Hazelwood as a dependent, you're going to choose I am a child receiving legacy transfer of an eligibility veteran's Hazelwood Act benefit. If you are a child of somebody using Chapter 35, the veteran means he's 100% service-connected disabled, then you're going to choose a child of a Hazelwood Act eligible veteran who is totally disabled, service-related deceased, killed in action, or missing in action. And the same will be for the spouse. You just change that to a spouse using that benefit. The next section is have you used Hazelwood before? If it's your first time, this section won't pop up. This section only pops up if you've used it before. We want to know how many hours you've used, how many institutions you use it at, and what type of benefit it was. Remember that with every Hazelwood application submitted to our office, we have to have the Hazelwood hours. The Hazelwood hours is a brief summary through the Hazelwood database that shows how many hours you've used. We still need this if it's your first time and it shows 0 hours. We have to have that printout. You can find that here at hazelwood.tvc.texas.gov/institutions. The next section is the Hazelwood personal data for both the student and the veteran. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill out all the veteran's information. This needs to be 100% because we have to report this to the state, and the state requires all of the veteran's information to include street address, date of birth, and a full veteran social. Sometimes students put the last 4. We need the full veteran social in order to process the benefits. Now, a note, the veteran must be residing in Texas in order for you to receive this benefit. If the veteran is living, let's say, in North Carolina or Colorado, you cannot use the benefit as the Texas must be residing in Texas for you to use it. The next section is just simply going to ask you what type of Hazelwood are you? The veteran, the spouse, or the child? If you have a loan through the state of Texas, either you, the veteran, the spouse, and if you're going to be in default or not. One of the last sections is the veteran's terms and conditions for using VA benefits. Keep in mind, when you sign this, you're acknowledging that you have read this and understand all conditions with using VA benefits, both for the school and the VA. You are responsible for all debts incurred to the school and the VA, let's say if you withdraw from classes, and that you understand that these responsibilities are yours and you're acknowledging them. And the last and final section is, if you have any information you need to report to, let's say your advisor or your certifying official, you put that in this section here for the comments. If you don't have anything, you just need to simply put none or NA. The next section is the parties involved. With this, if you simply put your banner ID, it should just populate you. If it doesn't, you have to put in all your information, and your role is going to be student. The last section is the signature section. If you're using Hazelwood Legacy, the veteran has to sign it. Any other benefit, you simply just sign down here yourself, save, and submit. Thank you for joining me. As I mentioned, I'm going to give you the information for all of your all the VA advisors here in the office. Now we are assigned by last name. I'm A through GA. Alicia Stolte deals with all students GE through N, and Tony deals with all students O through Z. Now, if your advisor is not in the office, don't fret. We're still going to be here if you just have any questions. We'll be glad to help you, whether you're our student or not. But if you have any questions, just feel free to give us a call or email us. Again, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day.